That seemed like a straight assassination to me. Are we next? Who's after us? The maestros?
Yeah, they kill people, right? That's like their thing.
Yeah.
They collect art and get stabby.
I mean, yes, that is their thing, but also it's kind of every house's thing to kill people, just for different reasons.
Yeah, but this was in an alleyway.
That's definitely got the maestro vibes, alleyways and whatnot.
Let's stop trying to figure this out and just get back to the hideout.
Yeah, it should be right around the corner here. Wait, what's all that smoke?
Smells like somebody's barbecuing.
Oh no, it's coming from the direction of the hideout.
Hurry. Maybe they'll give us some free food. Makinda steaks.
I don't think that smoke's coming from a barbecue.
Holy. Like seriously, guys, look. There's a bunch of holes in our house. Like, it's all rubble, guys. There's nothing standing except the door.
No, my halo's died. God's just
You guys gave me crap about painting that door. I told you we need to paint the door, and the only thing standing. I think you guys owe me an apology.
All right, we have more important things to worry about than whether or not the paint saved the door. There's a note on the door.
Yeah.
Grab that for me.
Yeah, I'll get it. Make sure it doesn't scratch the paint. Here you go.
Well, I guess after all this, you might just have a job with the Riveteers.
Yeah, I'm not a very good builder, though. Hey, do you guys think the Riveteers did this? Like, they build stuff, but they also knock stuff down. That's like their thing, right?
Yeah, no, that's what they're known for. Hey, this note's from the brokers.
What's it say?
It says legal troubles, illegal troubles, and then there's an address to find them at.
Oh. Do you think they did this? Is this their calling card?
Sounds dangerous.
Well, regardless of what kind of trouble it is trouble. And if they can help, we should go find them.
I don't know, man. I'm getting kind of spooked.
You should already be spooked. Our house has been blown up.
With my halo in it. I don't like this. There's just too many people after us. It's just too dangerous.
I also don't like the fact that you're, all concerned about your halo, but, my stuff is in there too, man. You know how many nights I spent picking through the garbage to get my stuff?
Oh, enough, both of you. We need to get away from here before they find us.
Yeah, maybe we should go talk to the birds, I guess.
Maybe this has to do with that other case. What's even in the case?
Yeah, crack it open. What the hell?
What am I looking at?
It's some kind of device.
Welcome to another episode of Magic the Gathering Proving Grounds, the only Magic podcast that attempts to prove that Foghorn Leghorn is, in fact, a distant cousin of Ledger Shredder.
They're both birds. They're both made in America.
They both taste like chicken.
There we go.
That's it. That's the nail. We got it.
Nail in the coffin. So,
all right, one proving done.
I am, in fact, your host, Moderator Dave. And with me is the other hosts.
I'm Ben. Hey, what's up, dudes? Didn't do that again.
Please never do that again. I am the other Dave, and I am offended right now.
Yeah, leave the podcast bro at home.
Rage quit.
What have you guys been doing this week?
Lots of IRL stuff, but I had a refrigerator that busted, and I have no frozen anything. Tooling around with some decks at home, playing myself on the kitchen table. Seems to be the going thing for me. I got into that mono blue spirits deck in Pioneer. Oh, man, that thing's like a truck. It's pretty good. It's almost like a fast aggro deck, but you have cards with counters on the board, can kind of control a game, but you're also super little aggro. I can see why people talk about this deck like it's something to watch out for, and why people are starting to pick it up, because it seems pretty good.
What about you, other Dave?
Right now, I'm still shocked by the fact that Benoit followed up Podcast Bro by using the abbreviation IRL instead of just saying something.
I've changed, bro. You've changed, bro.
Mostly, I have been playing Alchemy the last week, actually.
Oh, yeah?
I've been
interesting.
having fun with that. I took that blue-green concept that they had in the event, and I ran with it because I had a lot of fun playing it in the event.
Did you spend a lot of time playing the event, or did you just get your 3 wins in?
I got my 3 wins in the event, and then I went into the actual pool.
I played the event long enough to get my 1,000 XPs and then got distracted.
Because you got that, in that green-blue deck, there was that dude. He's like a 1/3, and whenever you play a creature where it's the only creature of that type in your deck, you draw a card, and then the whole deck is like filled with cards like that. And so it's like like almost every match that I played, I was discarding cards at the end of turn because my hand was full.
So it like basically every creature in that deck is a different creature type, or
yeah. So there's 2 main creatures in there because there's the collector and then that other creature whose name I can't remember. But it's a 2-drop. It's a one green, 1 colorless. And you can tap it to produce a mana. And whenever you play a creature that does not share a type with any other creature in your library, you draw a card. And then the other dude is 2 colorless, a green and a blue. And he says whenever you play a creature that doesn't share a creature type with any other creature in your library, you make a copy of it.
ooh,
Yeah. And then you just fill it with creatures of like, here's my 1 human, and here's my 1 oddity, and here's my 1 wolf, and what can I get the most comes in a playfax with? Titan of Industries in there.
sick.
Sounds pretty interesting, actually.
It was quite fun, actually. I had a lot more fun with it than I thought I would.
So did you copy paste that deck list, or did you tweak it a little bit?
I tweaked it a little bit. Largely, the changes I made were changing the creatures that you just have 1 of. Not that the creatures that they picked are bad choices, but I just thought they were better choices.
Very cool. All right. Well, is that all you did? Okay, if we move on. You don't have to. All right.
Way to make me try and feel self-conscious about myself.
It's okay. Well, I'll make you feel real good about yourself. I didn't really do much this week other than play Magic from the commode. About all I had time to do. So,
I don't know if that's you played Magic a little bit or you played Magic a lot. Please elaborate.
well, a medium amount. Hey, last season, well, last month season, since they're monthly seasons, I made gold from the commode. So,
hey, man,
that's was it a goal, an achievement? That's the word I'm looking for. Achievement.
Yeah. Gold commodes are things that people strive for. It's like a mark of.
I was gonna say I don't make gold from the commode, but I put gold in the commode.
Yeah.
So you're a gold goose. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, well, you lay them golden eggs.
If you want to handle them and find out.
I'd prefer not to be honest. So that's all I did this week. Basically, ran into a bug on the desktop version, which further forced me to commode play, where the client wouldn't start properly. Haven't been back to check to see if they fixed it, but right after that update, went into like a boot loop. It's really weird.
They have you update the client weird. I think it's weird. You have to like actually use the installer again instead of just pushing a button to update.
Is that it?
No, I just think it's weird, and you should just have a button on the client that says update, and you push it. But you have to like go either re-download the Magic installer or find it in your downloads folder, and then reopen it to get it to update. At least that's what I have to do. Do you guys have that problem?
Nope.
What am I doing wrong?
I don't know.
Mine won't update now, so maybe I'll have to start doing that. So
I'm doing a live test. No, it did. Well, this was a small one. I think it's when it's like a big one. They make me anyway, like a hot fix or something.
Interesting.
Anyway.
Maybe it's because I have not moved where I keep the EXE, because it does open the installer when there's a big update, but it just automatically opens the installer. I don't have to go find it.
Oh, you know what? I stored mine mine's not on the C drive. So maybe that's a problem. Maybe that's why I have to do that, because it's on a different drive than where the installer is. Or not the root drive or whatever, the OS drive.
How could you not install the best game in the world on your C drive? Putting it in your games drive.
I like to keep it
Bad
clean.
form, man.
Wait, you have Chex Quest installed on your C drive?
Yes, that one's fine.
Okay.
I do that.
Best game ever, man.
I mean, when you said best game ever, that was what immediately came to my mind.
Dude.
Was Chex Quest.
Doritos Crash Course.
I don't know, man. Chex Quest.
We were
Wasn't
talking
there
about
one
food, so
Mountain Dew one.
Because Chex Quest is just the reskin. It's just Doom. It's literally reskin.
oh
Doom
yes,
with
yes.
Chex creatures.
Yeah. Okay. All right. You win. Am I ever going to win anything? No.
Probably not. Let's move on. We might not have been up to much ourselves this week, but neither was WotC. We've got one news topic, so let's stretch this one out, boys.
I got this. Cracks knuckles. Okay. I mean, like you're going to read it. I'm just going to stretch it out.
Oh, I thought you said you got it. Okay, my bad. Got to work on our timing here.
We're gonna incessantly interrupt you to make it last longer.
Hey,
This is the bit.
Whatever.
That's what we do.
whatever it takes, man.
It's page 1 in the manual.
Gonna act like a kid. What's that one do?
Yep, y'all done.
Nope.
Are we there yet?
Okay, so WotC announced their 2022 starter kit. This is the onboarding tool for Paper Magic, I guess, where you get the 2 ready-to-play 60-card decks, a rules booklet, and a bunch of other meh stuff. The idea is that you take these 2 decks and you teach a friend to play, or alternatively, if 2 people who don't know how to play want to buy this deck and learn together this kit, then this is what WotC wants you to buy to learn how to play Magic in paper, or at least an option. Do any of you guys have experience with these? Past, present, future?
Yeah, I bought the last one that they had. I got it for $15. I thought that was a pretty cool deal. And I taught my 10-year-old and my wife how to play Magic using those 2 decks. Notably, the last time, one of the decks was clearly stronger than the other one. So I maybe they did a better job this time making them more even. But
did you read the instructions? Did you give the new player deck to yourself? You know, give the better one to the person who don't know how to play and get them an early win, make them feel good about themselves?
Yes, I did. I gave the better deck to the learner, and I took the crappy one. And as with anything, you don't want to stomp them in dodgeball and then laugh at them when they're just a little kid. You just want to make them feel a little good because they'll never play Magic again.
I'm down for laughing at little kids. I don't know about you.
In the nicest way possible.
I bought one a really long time ago. I think it was the first one they did because it had a promo card in it that I wanted, I think. I think that was back when they had they put 1 promo card in each deck, or 1 alternate art card, I guess is more appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've touched them since. I think I immediately dismantled it for the card that I wanted.
Yeah, you weren't buying it for any learning.
Yeah.
I don't remember. This was forever ago, so don't quote me on what set it came from, but I think it might have been all the way back in 7th edition when they had the set. Well, the set I bought was the ones you didn't shuffle. And then it was you hand 1 deck to this person, your player, you take 1, and then it had a walkthrough guide, you draw step, this is the card you're going to get, play it. So is that it had kind of a choreographed first game to teach people how to play. And
interesting.
I don't know if that was 7th edition or if that was what Portal was, because I think I bought some Portal stuff too.
I mean, Portal was so long ago, it's hard to...
Yeah, this is forever ago, man. So I don't remember exactly, but that's the first one I bought. And I think I might have bought one 10 years ago just to look at it, or because it was cheap. Because you can get these pretty cheap, when they get so old. So I guess my question is, we'll do this one first, and then we'll move on to whether we think this is the best way to onboard players in Magic. But I did want to point out before we do that they're offering codes in this particular product for Arena, where 2 people can unlock both decks on MTG Arena.
Is it
so?
2. Oh, yeah, it is 2. Oh, well, okay, so hold on. So this was in the other one that I did, and I'm not sure. I'm looking at the product page, and I'm not sure that it's 2 different both decks, or if it's one card has one, like, code has one deck, and the other code has the other deck.
I would assume it has to be both decks so that you could switch back and forth.
The bit that I copied and pasted into the show notes is directly from the article. It says codes for 2 people to unlock both decks to play online in Magic Arena.
Oh, okay, because that's not how it was in the last one. The last one was just codes for the decks.
Okay.
So this is an upgrade.
So they've done this before. This is what I was going to ask about this. This isn't new for these starter packs.
No, it was actually one of the things that made me spend the $15 was, because like I wasn't sure if the cards in there were even worth $15 or anything, but it was like, I get these cards on Arena. That's great. So
that was the determining factor for you to go ahead and make the spend.
Yep, and if you get 2 copies of them, that's good.
Yeah, it's you and a buddy got some cards. Nice. Since this is something they've done in the past, you don't see this finding its way out of the starter kits and into something a little bit more
Never
economy friendly for the average.
No, I don't think they're ever going to do anything like that again, or anything that's anything where the deck is pre-constructed and then there's actual value in that for players, because that always seems to turn toxic for them.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the deck list, and some of these cards used to be worth a pretty penny, and now they are not. So I don't know how much, like Hullbreaker Horror for one, 2 months after Crimson Vow came out, it was worth $20, and now it's looking like it's $5, probably because this is printed, right? And Welcoming Vampire is another one.
I still remember there was a pre-con in Kamigawa that had whatever that rat is that makes X11 rats.
Mm-hmm.
That became kind of a big deal. And like stores were selling out of them. People were getting angry because they couldn't buy them.
Yeah.
It was like creating this weird environment in the store. I remember being like, what in the heck is going on here?
Yeah, same thing happened in Mirrodin with the Skull Clamp. Yeah. That Skull Clamp was worth $15 and you spent like $12.99 on the deck. You just go buy, instead of buying a Skull Clamp from the card shop, you just buy one of those pre-cons.
Wow.
And then it was promptly banned.
Yeah. Hey, man, but it really sped up my elf deck.
Yeah, it's a good card. Not broke at all.
I stand by. I think Skull Clamp is the most deserving band they may have ever put out.
Yeah, I agree. Dude, I agree, actually.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I won't die on that hill. Okay, so back on topic now. So we took a detour through the arena code kerfuffle.
You said stretch it out.
Stretch it. Well, yeah, I'm not complaining. I'm just trying to steer the cast back to the topic at hand.
All right, Navigator Dave, got it.
Trying to do a segue, bro. Okay, anyways, so these starter kits, are they good onboarding products, in your opinion? Yay or nay?
Okay, so for me, I found the other one very easy to explain. It didn't have a bunch of words on the cards. They were very, they were less wordy than most cards they release nowadays. And it had the simple mechanics, the staples like flying and flying. I can't remember any other things. And it showed you to pay attention to the creature types. You know, like one was like, if you have an elemental, then do this. So I actually thought it was really a good way. They're not super high powered, so they let you play out the cards and really get into the attack stuff without, it wasn't some sick combo deck or anything. It was very, metered experience that you could take slow. I thought it was helpful. I mean, they both play Magic now, so a win. Sure.
I am positive that anything is better than my experience learning Magic.
Oh yeah. Do tell.
I mean, I was taught the completely incorrect rules and then went to play in a tournament and people were like, what the f*** are you doing? And I was like, I was told first strike meant he was unblockable. Like,
That's I had a similar experience where the kid on the playground taught me how to play. He had like this. Tell you how old this was. It's like an Ithlid Spore deck, or a Thalid Spore deck rather. Yeah. And so he had like, it was a weenie deck, and he was like, okay, now damage stays on your creatures permanently. So he would just like send all his waves of disposable token creatures into mine and eventually eat me down. And then you go to the card shop to play a game, and this like 30-year-old dude, I'm like 12. He's like, that's not how you play. I'm like, what are you talking about?
You don't know who's lying to you. You're like, wait, what?
Are you just trying to beat me, old man? I don't trust you. My friend, he's cool.
That guy was not cool, turns out.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where it's like, back in the early day of Magic, I think that there was definitely a lot of that, like where you weren't sure of the rules, and I still don't understand banding. Like, I don't know that I ever will.
How was it not? Look, man,
it's the most overpowered mechanic in Magic.
That's what I hear, and that's why they did away with it, and they don't print banding anymore. But I still don't understand really how it works.
It's a whole mess.
Try to explain how phase works, man. I don't understand that phasing.
Anyway, I get phasing. Phasing's fine.
I get it.
It's
weirds me out.
They're printing phasing cards, so you better pick up.
Sandbar Crocodile back in Mirage, man. I was like, I don't even know how this works.
Yeah.
No, but like original, like 4th edition stuff where their best attempt at onboarding I think they ever did was put rules books in the starter decks that you could buy, which were just a collection of 60 cards and some land. You remember those, right? Were they starter packs, starter decks?
Yep.
They weren't even actually a deck. It was just randomized, used them and sealed.
Yeah, and that's kind of what they did with the theme decks, except it didn't have land.
Yeah.
Well, those weren't randomized though, I don't think. Or maybe they were. I don't know.
I think this outlook is better than that. But personally, the best experience I've ever had, and this might be me because I've been playing for so long, I've got like the brain rot when it comes to that's just how it works. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah.
Or, of course you do this, and it would be Magic Arena now, but back when I taught all my kids play, it was duels where I'm just like, try to teach them in paper and they weren't getting it, and I was getting frustrated and they were frustrated. Like, just go play duels and come back when you finish the tutorial and then we'll play some Magic. So,
I'd say their digital tutorials have really come kind of a long way.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Arena does a pretty good job of teaching new players, probably better than the starter kit does.
Yeah.
But I think if you're in a situation where paper Magic's your only option, or
you want it to be more like playing board games on Sunday night or whatever, you know.
or you want it to be an experience with your kids or someone else, then the starter kit's probably the way to go.
I'll tell you, I do have a bone to pick with the way Arena does their stuff, because I taught my youngest kid, second youngest kid, how to play using the Arena tutorial. So he did the tutorial. I helped him beat Nico Bolas because he was having trouble. And then I was like, okay, let's play some games together. We'll do starter deck versus starter deck, or the pre-cons they give. And they will not let you play anybody until you complete them color challenges.
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's so counterintuitive to like trying to get somebody invested in playing the game via playing with them.
Yeah.
Because it's like, sorry, you have to do like what? It's 25 different games.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I do think
you can play with me.
That those color challenges too, though, to their credit, I think they do a pretty good job of introducing you to the identity of the colors.
Yeah.
Which probably gives new people to the game a good idea of what it is that they want to play.
Yes.
Where they fall into how they want to play Magic. Although it is a bit rude. It's not going into like dual color philosophies and things like that. At least you have a general idea of, okay, well, I like controlling the board and controlling my draws and stuff like that. So I think I'm leaning blue, or, I like punch
big
people in the
stompies.
face.
Yeah. What they could do is allow you to direct challenge people before you complete those. Because obviously they put that stop in there so that people who don't know how to play the game don't go and mess with stuff, right? Like,
yeah, you don't go and
make the experience bad for other people. Not that they're trying to. It's just so they want them to kind of. But they should let you direct challenge when you haven't completed this. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna write a proposal and send it into WotC.
There you go.
Direct challenge option, because like, my kid's kind of hit a roadblock. He's like, I don't really want to play. You don't want to do all this. I just wanted to play Magic with you, and be like, I guess you have to get the cards out.
And I have to explain to you 10 times that you can't attack my creature directly. This isn't Pokemon.
Yeah, no.
That's the big thing with my 10-year-old is I have to keep telling him, no, well, you choose to attack me, and I choose to block if I want to, because he plays Pokemon.
When I taught I have a lot of kids, so hold on.
Define a lot, by the way. I've been wondering this.
It's a litter. He has a litter of, wait.
Well, it's 3 or more kids is a mess. So I have like 3 messes.
That's messed up.
Very much.
But,
anyways,
I mean, or more. You could have like upward. I don't know.
Well, anyways, that's neither here nor there. Tell you after the show, man.
All right. Yeah, I don't want to put your business out there. And people be like stalking you based on like, okay, there's only so many people in the United States who have 17 children.
Yeah, it's good triangulate.
Exactly. Anyways, hey, man, weirder things have happened.
That's true.
So it was like my 4th oldest, and he was like 6 at the time, maybe a 9.
Hold on, I got to derail you a second. You said 4th oldest and not like second to like my youngest or second youngest. Like you had to say, you have so many kids, you had to say 4th oldest.
Yeah, because then you go...
Fat is closer to that end.
Yeah, it's actually kind of right in the middle.
Right.
Anyways, could have gone either way. Anyways, trying to teach him how to play Magic when he was not 13. And he spent like 10 minutes poking the land because it was like, you got to tap your land before you attack. So I have a cell phone video of him just doing that for
just tapping
minutes,
it.
and I'm laughing, and he thinks it's the most clever thing ever, and I'm just...
Tapping is like tapping from a tree. Like, you know how they make maple syrup? They tap the tree. This is what you're doing to the land.
So, yeah, onboarding, I think, depends on your goals.
Yeah.
Who you're trying to teach how to play. Because, like, my oldest daughter did full-on duels and learned how to play.
Yeah, what I like about the digital, I just want to mention this. The digital has, like, the hard stops that will not allow you to play wrong. And I think that is probably the most valuable aspect of learning is that, like, they tell you something and you understand it and then you go to do it and it's like, no, you can't do that. You're like, oh, wait, I was thinking the wrong thing. Now I know the correct thing. Where you don't have that, like, fail-safe in paper. So I think the digital will always be just a better tool because of that hard stop. But
sure,
no one's going to teach you that first strike means unblockable in digital.
Right.
That is true.
And honestly, I learn a lot about cards by playing digital too, because I might read it and might think it works a certain way, and then when I do it on digital, I'm like, I was doing that wrong.
Yeah.
Oops. Like Winota.
Exactly. So another thing I think that, again, digital is really good at, because my daughter picked up on this far quicker than I ever did, is teaching, like, how instants work and, like, doing instant combat tricks.
Oh, yeah, like the stack.
Stack manipulation and spell speed is like mastering how those work. I think you learn that faster.
Yeah. And it's less abstract than when you're trying to explain to somebody.
Yeah. It took me forever to figure it out. And she's like at the card shop playing some rando, and he's like, she's really good at those instances. Like, she hasn't been playing that long. He's like, that's really crazy.
When we started playing, was it the stack? It didn't exist, or it was different?
Stack was invented. Well, they explained this in the 6th edition rules revamp.
Yeah, that was the hard, like, fix of the rules or whatever. Yeah.
Before that, you had summon spells and interrupts and...
Yeah, also damage went on the stack.
Right.
No, they fixed that after that, because when we took the break after
7th edition?
After Kamigawa. It was after Kamigawa.
Oh, yeah, no, it was. You're right.
Wrong.
Yeah.
Because I come back and I'm like playing on Magic Online after being out of the game for like 10 years, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to damage has gone on stack, and then I'm going to do this, and I'm going to win this combat some way or another. And then damage didn't go on the stack. And I was like, what the hell just happened?
I thought I understood, but turns out
that doesn't happen like that anymore.
Yeah, so I do think any way that they can find to make people understand Magic, get more people in is a good thing. Whether it's decks or digital, I think it's good.
Awesome. Do you guys want to move on to our next topic of discussion?
Sure.
Why don't you go ahead and explain that? Because if I'm not mistaken, you had a bit.
Welcome to today's episode of Ban It or Stan It. We have, as always, your host, Mark Rosewater. Hold on, I'm getting it from the booth. Sadly, Mark will not be able to make it today. Instead, we have your host, Dave.
Oh, okay. Which one? Huh?
Either one.
I
left it open-ended.
Okay.
We got to do this on the fly.
All right, let's do this. I thought you were going to go with the Pat Sojak bit.
No, I'm Rod Roddy.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not the host. I'm just announcing the host.
Oh, okay.
And since Mark can't make it,
okay. Anyways, that was really bad, man. We should probably just move on and pretend that didn't happen.
No, we can put it in. We'll just cut all the rest of the stuff out.
No, that was part of the bit.
Oh, damn it! We should get our bits under control.
Get your head in the game. Anyways,
all right, we fired Mark.
Yeah,
Mark, you're fired.
You're fired. So we're going to talk about some cards, a collection of cards, if you will, and we're going to have a discussion about whether they should be banned, whether they shouldn't be banned, or rather, they're just right. It's a real Goldilocks situation.
I stand everything. Not really.
You stand all the banned cards and also all the cards that aren't banned?
Except for Skull Clan.
Hey, man.
What about Oko or Uro?
I didn't have a problem with either one of those cards. I know other people did, but I understand that they definitely warped the meta and they should have been banned, but I liked playing both of them. Maybe that's why I didn't mind it.
Yeah. It's always fun to be super powered.
I was having fun with them. I'm also glad I sold my Uro before it got banned. I got lucky and pulled a foil borderless one.
Ooh.
And was like, I'm going to get back into playing Magic now. And played for like a week and was like, yeah, nope, time to sell this.
It's like banned. You had some inside trading.
Yep.
I know a guy.
I knew it. I felt it coming.
You felt the disturbance in the force?
I mean, you could see it that very first tournament. And it was in 73% of the decks in the tournament. You were just like, okay, well,
that'll do it.
Something's got to change here.
Okay, so I'm going to say the name of a card, and then y'all fight amongst about yourselves whether it is good or it is bad, and whether it should be banned. First
Sounds
up
good.
On the docket to ban or stan is Fable of the Mirror Breaker.
So it's a dual-sided card. It's a saga on one side, creature on the other. It's a 2 colorless and a red. The first chapter, you create a 2/2 red shaman, goblin shaman creature token with whenever this creature attacks, create a treasure token. Chapter 2, you may discard up to 2 cards. If you do, draw that many cards. Chapter 3, exile this saga, then return it to the battlefield transformed under your control. When it transforms, it's a 2/2 creature named Reflection of Kiki Jiki, enchantment creature, goblin shaman. Pay 1 and tap. Create a token that's a copy of another target non-legendary creature you control, except it has haste. Sacrifice it at the beginning of next end step.
So this is my understanding that this is supposedly a fixed version of the original Kiki Jiki Mirror Breaker.
Essentially, yes.
Attempt to do so.
An attempt to do so. So, did they succeed? That's the real question, I guess. Or does this need to go the way of OG Kiki?
So my feeling on this is, in the current meta environment, it probably does need to be banned. But I do not think it is in the large scheme of things, as broken as, say, Uro was or Oko or that round of bannings. I just think that right now in this meta, most other decks don't have a way to deal with it.
So are we looking at more of, if you will, a suspension or a scenario where it gets unbanned in the future? If you were in charge of...
I would ban it with the plan of revisiting it later. Because right now, it's definitely warping the format. So for our purposes here, I have the last 3 major tournaments. 3 tournaments ago, 4 of the top 8 decks were running 4 of it. 2 tournaments ago, 6 of the top 8 decks were running 4 of. And then the last major tournament, 5 of the top 8 decks were running 4 of.
That's pretty severe.
Yeah, it's got a very high severe usage rate in the top decks of the format. There's not a lot of answers right now, especially once rotation hits. We're going to have even less because I think you'll lose Portable Hole and Skyclave. Is that correct?
Yeah, what's the picture perfect way to counter this card in any given game?
And what I'm playing in white, Portable Hole works really well because it can hit the token that it makes, the first Goblin token, and then Skyclave can hit the enchantment or the Goblin or Kiki-Jiki itself once it comes out. That's how I've been dealing with it. I guess also if you were in green, Beseju probably helps with that, although it does give your opponent a land. So
better to have a land than have it flip over.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then when you're talking about, I don't think this is a huge problem in Modern because there's just such efficient removal all across the board in Modern.
Right. Yeah, the events I listed were just standard.
Yeah, right, correct. Pioneer, Fatal Push hits the backside. Yeah. Because it doesn't have a mana cost on the back.
Right.
And it doesn't hit the front, but you do have Beseju and other just general enchantment removal. So the thing I think why it's not banned, even though it has, or they haven't looked at a banned, even though it has it in so many decks, is that for the front side isn't the worst. It's when it gets to a back that's the problem. And you have 1, 2, 3, 4 turns before it being on the board that you can go before you can copy something and then cause all the havoc that happens. Because once you can copy stuff, that's when things go like really, really bad for the opposing player, because the stuff you can copy is wild.
I understand that. I do think the Saga portion of it can be kind of an issue, because if the pieces of the Saga leading up to it weren't as good, it would not be a playable card.
Yeah.
If they were just like irrelevant things, or they were smaller creatures, or it wasn't discard 2 cards, draw 2 cards, like it is a far less relevant card, because people are going to need stuff that provides relevancy on those turns.
Yeah, if the first 2 chapters were just blank and you got nothing until it flipped, this card wouldn't be played. But there's so much value on the front half. You get a creature to block, you get to rummage, and then and if you don't need your creature to block, then it's mana ramping. Yep.
Like it's a very effective Saga. It's not super effective. It's definitely not bannable without the Kiki-Jiki part of it.
Right.
But to act like it's irrelevant, it's not. Those are very relevant to the board state.
So sorry, I didn't mean to say it wasn't irrelevant. I'm just saying, like, the bannable part is the backside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, it might still even see play if the back half of it wasn't there.
So the original Kiki-Jiki, you just played, and you didn't have to wait turns to use it. It's Kiki-Jiki Mirror Breaker. Did it have haste?
I don't think so, but it might.
It did have haste, so that was the problem. It cost 5 converted mana. It had haste, and then you copy. It does the thing, right? Well, you copy a thing, so you lay it down, and then you're copying anything that's non-legendary, and then you get to attack with it or use the thing without losing your original copy, and that's really the problem.
I have to correct you real quick before we get too far away.
Okay.
It's called mana value now, not converted mana.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. I'm living in like 2015, man.
Friggin' okay.
So anyway, yeah, the issue is that you can use the one, even though like when you initially look at it, you're like, oh, well, it just goes at the end of the end step anyway, so it's not a big deal. But it is a big deal because the things that you're doing with the Kiki Jiki is not attacking or building your board. You're using an effect like what's on Blood Tithe Harvester, where you tap and sacrifice the creature and get a thing, right? So you copy Blood Tithe Harvester, it makes a blood token. Then you tap to sacrifice the copy to give X minus X to a creature, and then you do that next turn because you still have the original. And that's kind of the crazy antics. And then next turn you get more, because you have more blood tokens. It's actually pretty crazy when you start doing that. You can control the board like with those two, just that two combo, and that's not even the worst of them.
Yeah, that's not the most egregious example, even. Just an example.
What's the most egregious example?
I mean, I'm not really sure what the most egregious example is.
So if you copy Trollivar's Huntmaster, do you get the two wolf tokens?
I say, but I know it primarily leans on the comes into play effects, and there are much better comes into play effects than that.
Well, yeah, that one's just to control the board.
Right.
Just getting the blood tokens, yeah. But Trollvar's Huntmaster, you get those 2/2 wolves, so when the one die, when you sacrifice the copy, you still have the wolves. You can copy a Winota in Pioneer. You can copy Winota and then attack, and then you get two. Well, no, you can't copy Winota because she's legendary. I'm trying to think of another example that's not enter the battlefield, but it's like a triggered effect.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would do twice. If you make a copy of Ledger Shredder, you'd be able to have extra knives to dig through your deck. They're just crazy antics that you can do.
So this is most exploited when it's doing ETB effect or triggered abilities.
Yes.
So the most egregious example that I can remember actually playing against is Goldspan Dragon. Because you can make a copy of the Goldspan Dragon, and that's going to give you additional treasure tokens, additional mana and it's kind of just going to take away or take off in a way that's going to be hard to deal with.
Yeah, so instead of getting the double mana, you get quadruple mana and then double the tokens.
No, I think you just get the double tokens. I don't think you quad mana, but yeah.
It is just 2 mana because it's a flat statement that says treasures you have add 2 mana of any color, but still double mana or double tokens from the Goldspan Dragon. It can be pretty hard to deal with. It's
also flying too, so you're just beating somebody up real quick.
What's the power and toughness on Goldspan? I don't remember.
4/4.
That's not too shabby.
Yeah, so when Fable of the Mirror Breaker comes down, you have to figure out a plan before it flips. The good thing is that it has Summoning Sickness and can't tap the turn it flips, but you better have an answer for it, because if you don't, you're gonna be in a bad place when they start copying crap.
So I think we've talked this one out, so let's get your final calls on this. Do you ban it or do you stan it?
I give it a stan minus, because I don't think it's quite bannable, but I think it's leading that way. I don't think it should be banned this instant. But
every format or a particular format more than another?
Man, Pioneer, it's everywhere in Pioneer and Standard. It's just everywhere. That's the big thing. I'm not sure that it's causing a disruption of play or anything like that in the same sense that something like Luris was, but people are splashing red just to have this card.
That was the logic behind the Uro and the Growth Spiral ban, is that people were splashing in green or blue to play those cards.
Yeah.
Growth Spiral
I think it got banned briefly.
Oh, okay.
I think it actually got banned before Uro. I think they were trying not to ban Uro, but I could be misremembering things.
So I will say this: in Standard, this would be priority 1. In Pioneer, not so much. In Modern, I don't think it's a problem.
priority one to ban.
Yeah, like if you're going to ban a card, it's this one. Like if they're like, what are we banning today? It's obviously that one.
August 3rd, they banned Wilderness Reclamation, Curve Spiral, Fairy Time Raveler, Cauldron Familiar.
In standard?
Yes.
Okay. Cauldron Familiar.
So
Speaking of...
It was banned. I think they unbanned it sometime after they banned Uro, but I could be wrong.
Okay. So what's your verdict on...
So as a player, I do not think currently in the meta this card is something that you cannot deal with. I think there are still a lot of answers, but I think if I am Wizards, I think I am looking at this card. I am probably banning it just because of the usage rate, and as Ben said, people are splashing to play it because at some point, if 6 of your top 8 decks are playing this card, the other thing that they have to think about is how interesting is this to watch?
Right.
Because they want their tournaments to be big. They want Magic players to watch the tournaments. They want Magic players to want to be in the tournaments. And none of that happens if people don't want to watch it because it's all the same deck.
Yeah, homogeny. I will note real quick that the difference between the Luris ban and the Fable ban is that even though, the meta, there's like, it's so heavy, it's so leaning, it's so shifting towards using this card. With Luris, I feel like people were abusing the card. Like, they were not building certain things in the deck because of Luris's restriction that it had to be, your starting deck had to have more than, or converted mana cost 2 or less for your permanents. So the cards were not getting played because of Luris. And with Fable the Mirror Breaker, it actually breeds creativity because you're like, what can I put in my deck that I normally wouldn't play that I can copy and get like extra value out of? So I think that is a unique distinction between the two. And it might be a consideration they're looking at why they're not banning it.
I mean, there is not enough information out there yet for them to ban anything right now.
Right. It's not destroying everything like Skull Clamp did.
Yeah, by no means does it require some sort of emergency session for them to come together. Like, it needs to stop right now.
Call a meeting, push the red button.
Yeah. But I do think if you look at its usage rate, if that does not come down some over the next couple tournaments, and then rotation happens, and it's one of the few cards, because that's my concern is after rotation. After rotation, when there's less answers for it, is probably when they really need to analyze whether or not it needs to be banned, or if it continues to be 6 of the top 8 decks in every tournament are playing it.
Yep, agreed.
All right. Let's go ahead and see if we can't smash these last 2 out because we're bumping up against our time limit.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of, as other Dave said earlier, fun to watch. We're putting up on the chopping block now the cat goes into oven combo.
Don't ban my kitty oven.
Do you guys ban it or do you stan it?
In what format?
Historic is, I think, where it's really prominent.
Yes.
Okay.
In historic, so here's the last 3 tournament data for Kitty Oven and Loris in historic. 1 out of 8 top decks, 2 out of 8 top decks, 3 out of 8 top decks were playing Loris and Kitty Oven.
Like Loris or Kitty Oven featuring Luris.
Correct.
Is Loris in that build like a sideboard card?
Well, it's a companion, so it counts as sideboard.
He takes the sideboard spot up, but he is the companion.
All right. I guess I don't know how companions work, I guess.
Yeah, they're a thing. It's like a commander, basically. You can cast it once from the companion zone.
I mean, I get the mechanical aspects of it.
Oh, the deck building part. Okay, yeah. It takes a sideboard slot. I'm going to vote to stan Kitty Oven, and this is why. I like the mechanic because it's fun. But if it does get banned, I actually, in paper, they should leave it alone. In historic, I do think they probably should look at banning it because it is so, abhorrent to play against. you are just sifting through all these triggers and you just want to quit because you're like, I know what they're doing. I'm going to die. I'm not going to wait for 8 minutes for them to put the cat in the graveyard and bring it back out 20 times to life me, right? So yeah, it's not fun.
So the Luris Kitty Oven combo is only legal in Historic, so that's all we're talking about.
Right. Yeah, so maybe ban it there because it's just bad to play against.
So yeah, that's kind of like I'm gonna stand it. Shouldn't be banned, even though I have very strong feelings that it is a degenerative way to play Magic, and I don't mean that in like a negative sense. I mean, I do, but not like against the player or whatnot, but just that it prevents interaction from your opponent. And anything that does not allow for interaction from your opponent, I think, can become a very negative way to play Magic.
Yeah.
Very quickly.
And sometimes, and I'm not trying to say I'm a mean person, but sometimes I found because I have the Historic deck, I stopped playing because I found myself kind of going, oh man, this is going to be an easy win because they're probably going to quit right away. And if you're doing that with a deck, then that's a problem, right? Like, I love the play pattern. Like, I like it, like the paper Pioneer deck I have with it. Like, I love playing like that. You know, I love the combos and like the stuff. You know, I love doing it. But yeah, if you're just playing it to get somebody to quit to get an easy win, then oof.
Yeah. As the pilot, it's amazing. I love sticking cats in ovens. As the opponent, it's miserable to play against.
And I don't think the deck's overpowered or like, you know, strong, like necessarily too strong or anything like that. It's just the triggers on Arena. That's literally it.
Surprisingly enough, it's a lot funner putting cats in ovens than watching somebody else put cats in ovens.
Yeah. Digital cats, not imaginary cats, not real ones, just to be clear, Peter.
Cardboard cats. So I guess the general consensus I'm getting is that everybody stands it, but stands what
for now.
Might want it for now. Okay,
I'm not even going to say for now. Like, unless something happens, unless they add some piece to it that blows it over the top, I think it's fine.
Yeah, I was mostly saying for now, and just in case I get like really sick of seeing it. But yeah.
And then we'll go over this last one real quick. Then we'll call it a game. Greasefang, ban it or stand it.
I understand the degenerative parts of this.
Mm-hmm.
I understand.
Same thing with Kitty Oven, yeah.
I actually do not think it's the same thing as Kitty Oven. My issues with Kitty Oven are the style in which it plays, and it
with 1,000 triggers,
yeah. Whereas I love the Greasefang like idea of just being a glass cannon, and I'm going all in on Greasefang, and I love playing against that too because then all it takes is for me killing Greasefang to blow their whole plan up.
Yeah.
Tournament wise, you can see it's not really played that often, so I don't think any action needs to be taken on it from that end. In the last 3 tournaments, top 8's 1 out of 8, 0 out of 8, 1 out of 8.
For the listeners at home who might not understand what this play pattern is, does one of you want to describe it?
Yeah, let me read Greasefang. So Greasefang is very cheap. He is 1 black, 1 white, and 1 colorless legendary creature rat pilot. It's a 4/3, which alone the mana cost, that's good for just the mana cost. But the ability is, at the beginning of combat on your turn, return target vehicle card from your graveyard to the battlefield. It gains haste. Return it to its owner's hand at the beginning of your next end step.
So they combine that with things like the Pantheon that create angel tokens, because then you get to keep the angel tokens, or Esika's Chariot, or things like that have come into play effects that they don't even really need to crew the vehicle or do anything with the vehicle other than have it come into play.
And notably, Greasefang can also crew all of those things,
right?
As well, yeah. And
so you create your angel tokens, and it creates a very quick board state. Where if it gets out of hand, it gets out of hand, and you're it's too early in the game to combat against it.
Yep.
But again, 1 counter spell to an early Greasefang, and their whole game plan is off until they get to a way to get Greasefang back.
Yeah, and hopefully by then you've killed or managed the board enough. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
why it's a glass cannon. It's meant turn 3, kill you, or I'm going to lose this game.
And I'm always okay with those things. I really am. Yeah. Like you want to play some chintzy stuff, go right ahead. I'd love to disrupt you with an easy counterspell.
Right. Yeah. And again, to your point, it's not like Kitty Oven because piloting this deck has those super high moments of like, yes, I'm getting it. You know, you spend your first two turns dumping stuff in the graveyard. And when you see that Parhelion go in the graveyard and you have a Grease Vein in your hand, you're like, oh, yeah, it's on. And then you get super like, man, I did it, you know, and excited. And then on the other side, when you're playing against it, you're like, oh, I can beat this deck, you know. And then when he pulls off the big, you know, when your opponent pulls off the big thing, you're like, they got me, you know. Okay, on to the next game. It's not as like annoying.
So what you just spent 50 words saying is it's not as consistent as Cat Goes in Oven?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Rat Rides Bike is not as consistent as Cat in Oven.
Yeah, always, every time. I do think it's a really neat idea to do. It's a cool card. It's a cool design card.
So we stand this?
I stand it.
Is that the general consensus?
Yeah, this is a hard stand.
It's also very susceptible to removal because all you have to do is kill it before the combat phase, or bounce it, or any other number of ways to. It's still something you can interact with. Whereas like Kitty Oven is like, I can't interact with any of these creatures because you just sacrifice them in response.
Dice to Lightning Bolt. It's a trash creature.
Except that Lightning Bolt isn't legal where you would play this card. But yeah.
Oh, Dies to Bolt. Is that where we're at again? Going back to Dies to Bolt.
Well, you know. The red player.
Yeah, I will say that since it does have a 3 toughness in Standard and Pioneer or Explorer or whatever. Well, Explorer has Lightning Bolt, right? Or not Explorer, Historic.
It's banned in Historic.
Oh, it's banned in Historic. That's right, because it was a Mystical Archive. Yeah. Anyway, the 3 toughness in the formats it's in is a little hard to just direct damage out, but there are other ways to deal with it. Like even Strangle doesn't prevent that first trigger because you play it and then moves to combat and then you get your thing, right? Strangle's a sorcery.
Right. Well, I think we've stretched this bad boy out long enough. Let's go ahead and close her on up.
I think we had a pretty interesting thing here. We didn't stretch out anything. It was content as specifically designed.
Okay.
I really thought you said there for a second. I was like, that's strangely fitting when we're talking about stretching things out.
Dude.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus.
I don't know. I have to know about what you just said.
To what? What did you say?
I don't know. I said, I don't know how I feel about what you just said. Anyways, well, let's go ahead and tell us where they can find us there, Ben.
Yeah, you can find us on Twitter at MPGPod. If you want to talk to us individually, my personal Twitter is at BeNiceMPG. Moderator Dave, what's yours?
So you don't know it. Or you do know it, because I seen that you finally followed me after 3 weeks of saying you was going to, and then you didn't.
I believe I told you on air that I followed you at that point, but somehow...
you did. I did. And then I was heartbroken when I went to check my Twitter after that.
You didn't follow me on Twitter. I'm just moving you to friend on
Twitter. And just to let everyone know, I'll be on assignment next week, so I will not be attending the recording of next week's podcast, but maybe I'll have something interesting to share with everybody.
So what are we going to do without a moderator? Uh-oh.
Fist fights, I assume.
Yeah, this is going to be rough. Okay, you can also send us emails at show@magicprovinggrounds.com. Send us questions, anything that you want. Please, I hate saying this, and nobody sending us anything. Over and over.
I'll send you some pictures.
Oh, no. Unsolicited. No.
Speaking of stretching things out.
Oh, God.
Anyways, did you see this balloon? It gets really big.
Yep. Balloons.
That's it. That's a wrap. To get some water. I don't have time for that. Okay.
No, you can get water. I'd rather get water than not have ability to talk during the podcast. How now, brown cow? How now, brown cow?
All right. You guys ready to go?
Yep.
Upstairs. Instead of trying to drink out of the faucet of my 100-year-old utility sink. Yeah.
That sounds
not real
like
hard about it, though.
That sounds like tetanus.
Yeah, for real.
I don't know. I think I once watched someone eat a mushroom that they had thrown up. So,
like on a pizza?
Like picked it up out of a sink and ate it.
Yeah, was it me?
Yes, it was you.
Oh, damn it.
Something you would do. That's why it's laughing.
I don't remember this. But
it was your birthday party one year.
Oh yeah, that birthday party.
That birthday party.
Yeah, it's definitely off of a pizza.
Because I think we'd gotten a bunch of half-price Dominoes through Kevo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Half price
All
Dominoes.
right.